Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And welcome to podcast number 14 of the Real Estate Show. I am Sharice Selley with Selley Group Real Estate, and with me is the amazing, the fantastic, the Shauna Shark.
Hello, hello.
Don't call her that, though. She doesn't really like that name.
I prefer Bunny. It doesn't rhyme.
She seems innocent and meek, but she is amazing out there in the marketplace. So I just want to keep going. And in this last podcast, we had such good dialogue about the market shifting a little bit with showings, but yet it's still strong. Then we also talked about these cash buyers and maybe some of the risks. So if you haven't tuned into the last podcast, do so that you can be aware of some of the things that to expect when you're a seller and you're getting offers and how to kind of go through that with your agent, which hopefully would be us. But there's definitely things to look at. And Shauna, I mean, renovations, you and I, okay, you girl, that is kind of what brought our hearts together early on in our life,
That's
right? Back in 2006, you are such a creative girl and you have such an eye for beauty and redesign. And so I think the strength of our group is always helping people to come up with that creative process that they couldn't do on their own.
Yes.
You've gotten a lot of life out of that, haven't you?
Oh, I love it. I always feel like your home is your blank canvas. So it's always fun to change things around.
Yes, it is. And recently, I had a listing that was in Briargate. And this home, you can catch up on the series because we actually did this really cool series about renovate now and profit later. And it's actually a really big thing to be trusted with by a seller.
It is.
And for them to say, I'm opening up my pocketbook up ahead in front of this sale because I trust what you're saying is true and we'll make more money if we do the things you're telling us to do.
Right.
We don't profit personally. We don't take money for renovations in the sense of like, we're not paid on carpet. We pass all of those savings to you.
Yes.
We're not paid on the painters or the contractors, but we do know what it takes to make the most money even in this market because you have elasticity in this market. So there's such a huge value range if you do a renovation versus not.
It's true. Yeah. And a lot of people, are just listing at these high prices and not doing anything to the property. And there are properties that are overpriced and sitting. Not everything is flying off the market.
You saw one in Monument recently.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Sold as is, and it was, up there, $600,000. But by the time we added up everything that needed to be done to the house, things like the dishwasher does not work. The stove does not work.
Yes.
We are not fixing it's like, okay, well, by the time we're done, we're outpriced in this neighborhood, so.
Or for what they could spend too.
Yeah. And everyone has their limits. Not everyone, everyone has a budget.
So, the renovation, I know that in this particular instance for our renovation that we did in this Briargate home, the highest comp on that street, exact same floor plan, backing up to the same open space, had sold for $425 and it was fixed up. And that investor had purchased the home for $295, if you can believe anything sold for that price at the end of last year.
The end of last year.
And they were able to pick it up. It wasn't on the market. I think it was like an off-market sale. And it was sold to an investor. It was completely renovated. So they spent a lot of money to make it a $425 house, but they profited. That investor profited. That was not my client, but it was my comp to show because we had the same thing. We had a very outdated 80s house. Nothing hardly had been done, and it was very, very much in poor condition because it had been a rental for so many years.
Yeah.
And the seller was, we were talking about how do we maximize profit? So we brought the team in. I brought Elizabeth, our designer, in. We came up with an incredible design plan for this house. But I thought, we'll be a little bit above that $425 max because that was a month-old comp. The market's been going up about $8,000 on average a month. But what happened was we just closed the house this week. And we actually got $475.
And what do you think was the best thing you did for the renovation that brought, like, what were buyers saying? What did they like the most?
Gosh, you know what? That is such a good question, because it wasn't just one thing, but it was completely changing the palette of the home from that 80s dark, kind of ugly, just blah. It looked like, I kind of joke, it looked like ketchup and mustard, because the walls were like red and yellow.
Oh, yeah.
And there was yellow oak everywhere. And it just felt blah and lifeless. The fireplace was pretty as far as the fireplace itself, but the surround was just in poor condition. So the shiplap that Elizabeth chose, making it fresh and bright, changing the whole color scheme, and then completely redoing, like taking the bathroom that was in the master and the upstairs bedroom, taking that and making it a giant shower, taking the tub out, making a gorgeous bathroom.
And that's a gutsy move, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, you're leading me into one thing I want to share, because according to the Realtor magazine in NAR, on the studies that NAR has done, the National Association of Realtors, a bathtub is still very important.
It is for me. I love soaking in it. I'm always cold.
And in fact, you're building a home, and isn't that a priority for your master bathroom?
Yep.
So we're kind of going on a rabbit trail, but not totally. We did leave a bathroom in the house that had a bathtub.
Yeah.
I mean, we did leave a bathroom in that. We left a bathtub in the house. It just wasn't in the upstairs bathroom. And by the way, that bathroom was tiny. This is a very small home. So on a small scale, we had to make these choices. So yes, it was a little gutsy to take the tub out of that upstairs bathroom, but we made sure that we left one in the house.
Well, and on the other hand, a lot of people enjoy a big shower. And of course, you would want a tub option for little kids, or bathing your Labradoodle or whatever.
That's
for
so
babies or babies. But a lot of people love a big shower too. So
if you have both, that's ideal.
Yeah.
But I guess the point of this, renovate type idea is you don't need to go in and do it without guidance. You need professionals like us to help, because what we do is we want to add value, not just upgrades for upgrade's sake, because the sky is the limit when you're doing renovation.
Yeah.
So we keep it within budget as much as possible, and keep those renovations in a place where it appeals to the mass of the market.
Yeah, and we're in so many houses with multiple buyers that we really know, what those things are, because we hear it every day.
That's right.
I don't like this color. Oh, I wish the bathrooms were done. So we know very quickly with going in a house what to fix.
That's right. And so for this seller, if they were going to do if they thought 425 was their highest comp, and they were compelled to put in about $60,000 of renovations to get there, but it was well worth it, because their as-is value was far below that for that house. So they were saying, yes, we're going to do that. But then to get $50,000 more than that was, it's just a compelling case that people, you need guidance, because we're not here to take away as agents. A true agent not only adds value to your home, but they add value to your life.
Right.
The psychology of this business is huge. So, Shauna.
Well, and if you spend $10,000 remodeling a bathroom and you pick the wrong tile,
bye-bye.
People are going to go in and go, oh, well, I'm glad it's new, but I wouldn't have picked this. So it really, pays to have someone that knows what's in style, what buyers are looking for, because it really doesn't do you any good to update it if you're not updating it with the correct finishes.
Absolutely. That is so true. So I think that is so important. And, before we end this podcast, I think it's also really important, because buyers, even though we have a little bit less showings, we still have such a hot seller's market, and buyers are still having trouble finding housing.
Yeah.
Which continues to increase the need for rentals in apartments.
Yeah.
So, Shawnee, you have the inside scoop on that. Can you share for a few minutes what you've observed and seen in the apartment industry?
Yeah. So the average apartment in Colorado Springs right now is renting for $1,330 a month. Last year, it rose last year to this year, $115 a month increase in your rent. And just in this last quarter of 2021, the monthly rental raised $57 on average.
Wow.
So, the rents keep going up. They're building really nice apartments around town. These A properties, or the amenities are great, but the upper rents on those things, the nice 3 bedrooms in these nice gated new complexes, they're right under $3,000 a month in rent.
So you can buy,
You can buy, and if you took that monthly payment, that would equate on if you had a 3.5% loan, you would have about a $650,000 purchasing power on that monthly.
Wow.
So I think, on one hand, people are moving here. Maybe they're okay spending, they don't want to get locked in, or maybe they don't have the down payment. But the rents, you have no control from year to year over your rents. And
that's so true.
It's tough all the way around. But, at the end of the day, if you can buy, you're building equity, and you're building the equity for the apartment owners.
That's so true. Yeah.
They're not giving you a deal. Let's put it that way. They're keeping up with the rates
pretty well. Mm-hmm. Shauna, that's why people need really good guides on this time. They don't have to do it alone. They don't have to do it with fear.
Yeah.
And
we want what's best for people. And sometimes that's renting for a little bit. And then oftentimes it's just biting the bullet and getting in the market.
Yes. Yes, it is. So everybody is as unique as their fingerprint. And what I love about our philosophy is that it's not formalized, right?
Right.
We really want to hear people's stories.
Yeah, and we want what's best for them. And we love guiding them through that process. No matter where that road takes them, we're here to help.
That's right. So let us do that. If you have questions, if you're looking for real estate assistance, continue to tune into this podcast to learn more about the real estate market in general, because you're going to continue to get great tips here. But also, if you need help, if you need guides for this real estate market, please remember us, call us. We're happy to be there for you. We're happy to consult with you and see if we're the right fit to help you maximize the value of your real estate experience.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
We'll catch you next time.
Okay, sounds good.